Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Step Chat here from the Fortress of Solitude. Good to see you all. Thank you all for being here. Actually, it just occurred to me, I don't know if I have the right audio going or not. I'm so sorry. Give me a second here. I don't think I have my. Oh, it is apparently. Okay, I guess it is working. Great. Okay. It must have picked up on them and went to it, so that's fine. Okay, great. Hi, good to see you all. Thank you. Yes, hello, Mr. Murphy. Um, Hey, Mr. Whitehead, good to see you. Thank you as always for being here, and thank you for being such an amazing member of the float team. Angela, good to see you as well. How you doing? Um, I am. Yeah, Dory, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Um, week 3 where I have hidden the squeak toy. So yay! Hi, Dina, good to see you. And Murphy says hello as well. He is currently waiting for me to throw the ball, courtesy of our friends at Sempertex. There you go. Hello, Sherry Hatcher. Good to see you. Um, so yeah, hopefully you're all doing good. I will say that on this 1 million bubbles weekend, I for one am quite exhausted and quite happy with what I ended up with. Um, the Which I'll get to in a bit. Um, I will say that there's only been okay. All right, let me back up a little bit. I have a tendency, like a lot of balloon people. By the way, hi Hannah True, good to see you. Um, let's see here. Hannah True, good to see you. Ty, good to see you. Joette, display, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Um, it, to be honest with you, it's one of those things where, when you make stuff, right, it takes a lot to impress yourself. Does that make sense? Like, especially for a lot of creative people. Adriana, good to see you. You make stuff all the time, and after a while you kind of just make it and it's done, whatever. And you're like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And clients are like, oh my god, that's so amazing, and you're like, it's all right, whatever. But I can always tell when I really like something that I've done because I chuckle. Like, as it's starting to come together, I will literally like like okay, I'm liking it now. Like I'm happy with it. I'm not just I'm happy, right, as a result of what I've made. And I was very lucky that this week that happened twice. I was because it hasn't happened in a while, to be honest with you. It I had to do the Microsoft, or sorry, not the Microsoft. Well, it is Microsoft, but Minecraft. Apparently, yes, I know. Apparently, there's a character in Minecraft which is like a honeybee, like the Minecraft honeybee, and apparently it's a big deal. Microsoft is using it as their symbol of summer all over campus. Apparently, I discovered it's a Happy Meal toy as part of the Minecraft movie McDonald's promotion. So, and I got asked to make the bee, and so I did, and I was like, oh, like I kept wanting to take pictures of it because I was very, very happy. It's a very simple concept; it's nothing special, but I was just very, very pleased with how well it turned out. And I kept taking pictures, and I could always tell when I take too many photos of it because I really, really like it. The second time it happened was today when my 1 million bubbles piece came together. So I will share a photo of it just shortly here. Some of you have seen it because there's a reel on Instagram. I did put a reel out earlier today of it. So there we go. Let me scroll back here. Adriana, good to see you as always. Thank you for being here. Jacinia, always a pleasure. Thank you for being here. Lori Strauss, good to see you. Jamie finally made it for the beginning. Yay. Barbara, thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate that. Jody, thank you for that as well. We'll get to that all in just a minute here. My 1 million bubbles, I will admit, was a recycled effort, or as we like to say, repurposed. But I think you'll see in a minute what I'm talking about. So there we go. I talked about it on Lisa's show Tuesday night, and yeah. So, but I will admit though too, because I was very like, this week was so. We had so much work this week. Thursday was Microsoft's Bring Your Family to Work Day. I think we had 12 different locations that we had to set decor. And of course, it all had to be set within like before 9 a.m. on Thursday. And you couldn't do it the night before because there were other events going on all over campus. So that was a stressful morning, and then it was an exhausting day, and then we had other work. Then Friday we had, a tremendous amount of work, and Saturday was light, thank God. And then today was dead. And so I figured to myself, okay, this is great. I've got all day today to do 1 million bubbles. But I was smart and I said, I'm going to knock it out first thing. So this is the first time in 3 years where I didn't finish my 1 million bubbles piece like 30 minutes before I came out here with you. So yay. Yay growth. But what did happen is once I finished it, I literally just dropped dead and like sat here just like, I'm done. Like I had so many other things I wanted to do today, but it was just like you could literally feel any priority went out just like there you go. So yeah, I've been pretty drained. I got done. I went to upload pictures and I found myself doom scrolling for a second on Facebook, and then I was just done. So there you go. Tonight's episode will not be a super, super long one. It shouldn't be. In fact, it might not even go the full hour because I don't have a ton of stuff to talk about that we haven't already talked about for the last couple of weeks. So why don't we get to that? So bear with me for just a second, Murphy, please. Give me a minute here, dude. Are you trying to get on? No, he's trying to get to the ball is what it is. Here, come on. So there we go. All right. Let's see if we can get this to our share screen mode where we can share this with you all and have you all join me here live on the thing. And let's see if it works. Like I said, it started to work last week, so let's see if it works again. Yep, it seems like it. Let's see if it goes. Yay, it went. Okay, fantastic. All right. So welcome once again to another edition of Step Chat. For those of you that are watching either live with me here tonight or those of you that are watching on one of the replay options, thank you very much for taking the time to join us. Greatly appreciate it. And I look forward to all kinds of fun stuff with you tonight. As we have already discussed, this is our 1 million bubbles weekend. April 26th and 27th. It's always, for those of you that are keeping track at home, 1 million bubbles is always the last weekend of April. Again, this project was founded during the COVID pandemic as a way to share our artistry and our love for what we do with our neighbors and bring people happiness and joy at a time that was very, very scary for a lot of people. We have continued the project on and will continue the project on in one form or another. This year, the project took place this weekend. And as we all know, we had a very special motif this year. We had a very special meaning behind the project this year, in addition to what we already do. This year, we asked everyone to do efforts, including the color pink, as a tribute to the memory of our dear friend's beautiful daughter, Olivia Delaney Chase. This photo that you're seeing here was actually what Stacy and her team did for their 1 million bubbles project in honor of Olivia. I thought this turned out absolutely beautifully. This was a fantastic piece. I don't do a lot of installs of this nature. I love the cleanliness of the wall behind it, combined with the perfectly framing or almost perfectly framing organic arch on top. I think it's very well done. I think it looks really, really good. The angel wings are great. And of course, those are representative of Olivia. And of course, she was a huge fan of the movie Trolls. I can't say enough about this piece. I really enjoy. And then of course you look at the pink carpet, the pink stanchions, the whole 9 yards. This screams Olivia. Very nicely done. Very well done. I'm trying to figure out where it's taking place at. I'm not entirely sure where this was done at. But it doesn't matter because it's wonderful. It looks great. Very, very well done. Now to take a moment and to be a little selfish, here's a photo of my entry today. I promised you guys that I haven't had a chance to post it in the group yet, but I promised you guys that would oh, it's her shop. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, I wondered about that. I wondered if it was actually in her shop. So this is my contribution to the 1 Million Bubbles project today. As I mentioned on Lisa McIntyre's Kicking Back with Lisa Mac the other night, what my plan was to repurpose some of our decor. The bunnies and the carrots that you see in these pictures were actually created for an Easter display, obviously last weekend at a casino. And I was able to scoop them up with very, very minimal damage and brought them back and repurposed them. But of course, I wanted to find a way that wasn't the same. I mean, you just don't, I didn't want to throw the Easter bunnies and that out there because, I mean, sure enough, the very first people that stopped me said, it's not Easter. I said, yeah, I'm very well aware. Thank you. And again, everybody knows me, knows that I love alliteration. And it just literally hit me out of nowhere. And I thought, oh my God, this would be hilarious or at least cute if I did bunny badminton. So there you go. If you notice, there is a badminton birdie or shuttlecock or whatever you call it, floating overhead, rigged up with a piece of aluminum rod there that I wrapped in green 260 so that it would blend in with the background. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. And this goes to the power of this project. Because as I was attaching the birdie onto the rig point hanging overhead, these people stopped and they pulled over. And of course, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm not even done and people are starting to take pictures. And these people were like, apparently they have come every year and they live in the area. And every time we put something outside, they stop and get pictures of it. And they have apparently an entire album that they share with people of our installations that are outside in front of the shop. And so again, sometimes we just don't realize the impact that we have on other people with our work. And so this project is a reminder of that. And it's an attempt to remind people that, hey, at the end of the day, what we do matters and what we do makes a difference in people's lives, even if it's just a couple of bunnies playing badminton in the front yard. So I do want to remind everyone that this project, obviously over the years, I mean, we're seeing fewer and fewer people participating, but I do want to remind everyone that it still means a lot to a lot of people. And so in the future, we are planning on taking the 1 Million Bubbles projects into other directions. It's still going to stay in this particular capacity, but we're going to try to add on more things. We talked about this once before, about trying to come up with a concept where we would start to kind of create a concept where we would start to do some more different types of projects with the 1 Million Bubbles aspect. And so the idea is to still address that. We just haven't had a chance to do that yet. But yeah, so we have a post in the main group. If you did participate in the 1 Million Bubbles project, there is a post in the main group and you don't have to get approval to comment. So if you did an effort today and you want to post pictures in there, please look for the post. It's got the 1 Million Bubbles logo. Just go ahead and post your pictures in there. We'd love to see what you came up with. So thank you very much. Okay. When it comes to everything in the Floativerse, as I mentioned earlier, we have been kind of in a holding pattern for a while now. The reality here is that we're in between deadlines. We're in between a lot of stuff. And with that being said, I don't have a tremendous amount of new information to share with you tonight. So we're going to recap some things. We're going to expand on a few other things, but tonight's episode is really going to be kind of like a revival, as it were. So again, I do want to remind everybody that we are in the middle. We have reached the halfway point of the float draft for our teachers. Again, as a reminder, these are the sponsors that are currently in the process of still debating instructors. Anagram, Batalic, and Gemar both have 2 choices left, and Globus Payaso, Calisant, and Tuftex all have 1 choice left. Now, again, the information was sent to our sponsors on Monday of last week, which was the 21st. So these were the sponsors that had open spots left. Of those sponsors, as of today, this is where we are in the process. So as of now, our friends at Globus Payaso and at Tuftex have submitted their selections for the teachers in the lists. Now, there's an asterisk next to Globus Payaso because Globus Payaso selected their primary selection, but they failed to make an alternate selection. So I did respond to them and inform them that, hey, this is, we still need a substitute. And the reason we need an alternate is obvious. If more than one company picks the same person, that instructor cannot teach for 3 companies or 2 companies or whatever. So it's good to have an alternate lined up, and we want to inform we want to inform as many people as possible to know that they are alternates as well, so that they're still in the running. So there's all that. I am not seeing comments again. I don't know what's going on, so forgive me. So our friends at Tuftex have made their selection. Our friends at Globus Payaso have pretty much made their selection. I have heard from other companies. In fact, I know 3 of the 4 companies remaining. I have had conversations with them in the last week, and I know who they are leaning toward choosing. But it's like, well, we're like 95% sure, but I don't want to commit till we're 100%. I'm like, are you ever going to be 100%? But okay, that's fine. So hopefully, again, they have a deadline. Well, let's try this again. All of our sponsors that have not yet made a selection in the drafting process, they have until 12 p.m. Pacific time on Monday, May 5th. So they have 1 week from tomorrow to get this in and get their choices in. Again, if they fail to make a selection by noon on Monday, they forfeit their teaching spots. Now, to be honest, I don't think we're going to have that happen now. I don't think we're going to have that problem anymore. I was concerned, but not any longer. Like I said, I have heard from every sponsor at this point. I know that they are actively working on their decisions. So this is going to be one of those things. Let's see here. Okay, great. Thank you, Lisa McIntyre, for that. Hello, Tabitha. Good to see you. Stacy Chase. I'm here with Alyssa and Lisa. We are live from Lou Malnati's, which is, I now know, is a pizza place from Tuesdays with Kick It Back with Lisa Mack. So there we go. So yay. And since they're back with us again, let's take a moment. Great job, guys. Wonderful job on your installation for 1 million bubbles. Now that they're back with us. Okay. All right. So again, just as a friendly reminder, if you're one of our sponsors watching the show, again, either through replay or through live, please keep in mind you have until Monday, May 5th, 12 p.m. Pacific time to make your decisions. So there is that. For those of you that are eligible instructors and you're waiting around, I am not informing anybody yet until I have all 6 selections turned in. The reason for this is just clear. There's no sense in getting somebody upset or excited, right? The instructors all know, or the would-be instructors all know that, they'll hear from me by May 6th. So if you have not heard from me at this point, there is absolutely no reason to be panicking because no one has heard from me yet. Like I said, with only 2 selections formally made, there's no sense in reaching out to you and saying, hey, this person has chosen you. And the reason I'm doing this is the reason I'm specifically not telling you this information is because I don't want that to taint your opinion. Because what happens if, so they say, hey, company X has decided they picked you. Oh my God, that's great. So then you call them, then you work all the details out and blah, 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 blah. And then you find out 5 minutes before the deadline, the 2 other companies chose you. And you're like, oh, I kind of really want to teach for these people, but you've already invested all this crap into time and everything else because I told you too early. So that's how this is going to go down. We're going to wait till all of them are turned in, and then we're going to inform you. And I do want to remind you all once again, too, even if you are not selected as a primary or an alternate, that does not mean you're out of the running yet. It just means at this stage, you're not being considered. But again, if you have multiple people, let's say that somebody has a choice to pick one teacher and they pick one person and an alternate, and both of those people go to other companies. Well, now they got to pick all over again. So there's still plenty of opportunity there. It's not over till it's over. And it's over on May 17th. So just try to remember that. Try not to freak out too much about all that fun stuff. So there we go. So more stuff as we get excited for Reno. The dog won't drop the ball. He wants me to throw the ball, but when I reach for it, he runs away. He won't let me take it. So tough. He's going to have to drop it at my feet. Okay. Okay, folks, let's talk about Aloft. For those of you that are unaware, Aloft is our streaming service, 24-hour-a-day streaming service that we offer as part of the Orange Floativerse. These streaming service consists of recordings from live classes that we have run. It also includes a great deal of content from the old Area Deco video days that I used to produce years and years ago. There's previous float conventions on there and all kinds of other stuff, and that's available to you and all of our members for a 6-month price or an annual price, depending on which you would prefer to do. 6 months is $80, and a year is $120. The $120 price point breaks down to $10 a month for over 150 videos, classes, podcast episodes, and more. With that being said, our May class coming up, we're very excited about because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we are thrilled to have Sharissa Sawyer joining us. Sharissa is a licensed social worker who specializes in event production professionals, and she is going to be talking about avoiding business burnout, basically in mental burnout in general. It is more, to be honest with you, this particular class is going to be primarily about overall mental health, and again, as specifically as a business owner. So there's that. The virtual class will be taking place on May 13th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are. If you are an Aloft member, do nothing. Your invitation will be emailed to you on May 12th. So all of your login information, all that stuff will be sent to you. If you are not a member of Aloft, there are 2 ways that you can take this class. Well, there's 3 ways. You can either A, join Aloft, and then you too will be included in the class for free. You can pay $25 and sign up to become an Aloft, you can pay $25 and sign up to be a one-time attendee, and that way you will also receive a digital download of the class when it's over. Or, of course, you can simply wait till later when it's available for sale on the Orange Store. However, after the class begins, the price goes up from $25 to $50. So it's much cheaper for you to do this. If you'd like to join Aloft, go to floatconvention.com/Aloft. If you would like to purchase single-time access, go to floatconvention.com/Orange Store. And Dina, thank you very much for taking the time to post both of those links in the Facebook chat. Thank you very much for that. We look forward to seeing you all there, and we can't wait to meet Teresa and see what she has in store for us. Okay, if you were with us last week, you were here for the big news. We officially announced that Float is extending the convention by another day. As if because we can't start having events at 3 a.m. So welcome to the Float After Party concept. Tonight, we are going to spend just a couple minutes reviewing what's going to be happening during that process. So on Thursday, January 29th, Float will now be offering a series of events and activities throughout the day to extend the convention even further. From 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Float will feature the Float Feedback Meeting. This is the Steve and the Lion's Den concept, where we invite you to attend and bring your feedback on how you could, things you liked about the convention, things you'd like to see different about the convention, and things that you present to us are taken into consideration for future events. From 10 o'clock to 1 p.m., we'll be hosting 2 different business-themed masterclasses. Those will be taking place at the convention. You must be pre-registered for those, and that does involve a separate fee. Masterclass fees on average tend to run about $99 per class. They are, however, included for free with the flotation pass, which will be up for sale in September. From 1:30 to 3:30, we will be leaving the Grand Sierra Resort and going out to lunch somewhere on the town. So bring your checkbook, or bring it not your check. So bring your wallet, bring your pocketbook, and join us as we go out for lunch somewhere on the town. From 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., the Jam Room will reopen one last time. Everybody can hang out together. You can make balloon animals. You can do all kinds of stuff. Please keep in mind, you will need to provide your own product for this because all of our sponsors will be packed up and gone by this time. And finally, from 7 p.m. until it's over, we'll all be hanging out in the bowling alley at the GSR for our group bowling night. Tabitha, I'm going to get to that in a minute. So there we go. Everyone is welcome to attend, and you do not, everyone is welcome to attend the bowling event. You do not have to bowl because all of this is out of pocket. So if you do want to bowl, you'll have to be part of you'll have to get your lane and everything else with everyone else. But at the end of the day, you don't have to. You can just come down and hang out and visit and have a good time. Everybody's welcome. And then that will officially end the convention. And along these lines here, because we have now extended the convention the way that we have, and because we are asking people now to potentially stay an entire other day at Float, we now have 8 masterclass instructors, and those instructors are going to be announced next month. So normally we'd be waiting on this until like September when the flotation passes go on sale. However, we are not going to be doing this time around. We are going to announce them now because, again, if people are going to be buying airline tickets, we have to make sure that they have plenty of time to do so and know who's going to be where. Now, let's get to Tabitha's question. Tabitha asked, have you already chosen the instructors that will be offering the business theme masterclasses? The correct answer, the answer is tentatively yes. As of right now, there are a couple of people that we've already spoken to about this possibility. Nothing is in stone yet, but for the most part, the answer is yes. So there you go. There's been some shuffling going on. There's been one of the people that we had talked about teaching a master class is not going to be teaching one now. And so with that being said, pop spots are opening up. Then other sponsors are like, hey, we really want to bring this person. Are there any master classes left? Well, yeah, we can talk about it, blah, 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 blah. So these are all things that are in the works. But for the most part, yes, those 2 classes have been determined. Now, that does not mean that they can't possibly change. But for the most part, they're done. I do want to remind everybody once again that we are currently taking applications for the fashion show. This year's fashion show will be taking place as a formal part of the convention. It's not going to be a surprise this year. It's going to be taking place on Sunday, January 25th during the opening night event, just like it did last year. Again, the difference is this year, you'll all know it's coming. Applications are now being accepted on our website on the activities and schedule page. So if you go to floatconvention.com and go to schedule under the float menu option, you'll be able to sign up there. However, I would like to make one point, and the reason why we're bringing this up tonight. If you wish to be a designer at the fashion show, please limit your applications to 1. Entering more than 1 application is not going to do you any good. We're going to take the first one and delete out the rest. The reason I'm bringing this up. So last week here on the show, we told everybody that we had 1 person sign up to be a designer. And again, the convention is 9 months away, whatever. It's not key on everybody's mind, right? It's not like everybody is not yet in the mind frame that they have to start thinking about this stuff. Hello, Squirmy. So it's not surprising. So the other day, I logged in and was shocked to find that we had 15 applications. I was like, oh my God. Well, there you go. It's kicked in and there we have it. And thank you, Dina, for posting the link in the Facebook chat. Thank you very much for that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy crap, this is this is amazing. So I go to number 2 and I see the person's name. Great, new person, fantastic. Go number 3. Same name. Go number 4. Same name. 14 applications. 14 applications. Hello, Lorena. Good to see you. What the individual did, the individual saw this as an opportunity to, apparently, they have no preference as to who sponsors them. So they filled out 14 applications, each one with a different potential sponsor. And I wrote them back and I said, while I appreciate your energy and your exuberance, this is borderline abusing my policy. In fact, it's not borderline, it is, but I said the word borderline. I said, we're going to keep your first application. I'm going to delete out the other 13 without even reviewing them. And we're going to list you as available to any sponsor. And there you go. It's insane the amount of time and energy that person put in thinking it was a backdoor element to would increase your. It does not increase your chances. It does not increase your chances. So please, one application is fine. And remember, no one is being denied the opportunity to make a dress in the fashion show. If I literally have 37 people that want to make a dress in the fashion show, whether they are sponsored or not, we're going to make room for them. It's just the difference is that there's different people that are getting different opportunities to do it and different benefits for doing it. Sorry, he just crashed. Sorry. It was kind of funny. He's not hurt, so he's fine. And hello, Robin. Good to see you. But it was very, very funny how that just going down there. All right. So again, please, guys, please keep my sanity in check, and please do not fill out that many applications. Well, that's all the news we have regarding the convention in Reno this week. So let's talk a little bit about some other stuff. First of all, I want to thank everybody for participating in today's Step Chat survey. Today's topic was a very important one, I think, because I was having a conversation with one of our vendors recently, and they were expressing some frustration. And I said, well, what are you upset about? And they were angry that all anybody comes to Float for is to get free stuff. And I said, is that you think? And they said, absolutely. That's all it is. It's just them wanting free stuff and this and that and blah, blah. So then I thought to myself, okay, well then let's take a moment. Let's actually ask the people that are coming to Float. The question is, when it comes to the vendor showcase, what is the number one thing you look forward to? Or what is the number one reason that you're excited about the vendor showcase at Float? The categories were newest releases of products and services or things, discounts and deals, giveaways and freebies, meeting and visiting with your favorite companies, just general shopping, placing pre-ordered items and picking them up at the convention so they don't have to be shipped, or something else not listed here in the comments. Overwhelmingly, 45% of the survey said the number one thing they were the most excited about at the convention is seeing the newest products and services that are being available. Whether it's, hello, Larry, good to see you. Whether it's whether it's a new color, whether it's a new whatever, a new machine, a new piece of equipment, whatever. That is without question the number one thing that our survey, the people that responded to the survey, look forward to at the vendor showcase. And what I found interesting is that giveaways and freebies didn't even rank on the list. Now, that could be, to be fair, that could be because you've got people that they already get the tote bag, right? So that could be the why they didn't select giveaways and freebies, because they're already getting them in the tote bag. So that could skew some of the voting in this case. But I was also very, very glad to see too that the number 2 reason was meeting and visiting with favorite companies, which is really good because that means face time is very important. Some of the folks that I've been speaking to lately have been very clear. They're like, I don't think a booth is good for my branding necessarily. I'm thinking of trying to do something else. But I'm telling you right now, I think the booth is absolutely essential to success at Float, because you need to have an anchor point where everyone knows exactly when they can find you. And the downside is, as much as I enjoy like the sponsored sessions, I don't think a sponsored session in exchange for a booth is necessarily the best idea, because I think you need to have, again, a sponsored session in conjunction with a booth is a great idea because it's added bonus, right? This way you get to be an expert on something or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then, and if you want to talk to me more, meet me at the booth, right? The problem is that if you don't have a booth, the way life gets going around there, people, they won't connect with you again. You get the 1 hour and that's it. So there you go. Dina, I think enjoying giveaways and freebies is universal. Everyone enjoys free stuff no matter what industry. Yeah, I would agree. I think that's very true. I will say I do relate to the vendors, their sentiment though, because that's the number one reason why I quit doing bridal shows. I hate bridal shows with a passion. And the reason that I quit is because it was all about free stuff, right? It was all about, what do you have? What are you giving away? What are you giving away? And there was one time the last bridal show that I ever really did that I remember, we decided that we were going to give away a free balloon arch to one lucky bride at the show. And so that way we could gather their information and everything else. And this girl comes running into my booth. Oh my God, I want I want an arch. And she was filling out the form. And then as she was done, as she was walking out the booth, her maid of honor or whoever it was looked at her and said, "But you don't even like balloons." And she goes, "Oh, I hate them, but if I get it for free." And at that moment, I'm like, we're done. I'm never doing this again. And so I understand the sentiment of the vendor because they feel like they just take. But the truth of the matter is that I don't think that's the case when it comes to something like this. So there you go. Lisa, sponsored sessions with new products lead you to their booth. Yes, absolutely. I agree completely. Completely agree. So there we go. Completely agree. I also want to take a moment once again to remind everybody that if you are in fact registered for the Float convention in Reno, you are invited to be a member of the Float Forum. Hey! I'm recording here. Sorry. I do want to remind everybody that if you are registered for the Float convention, you are also invited to join the Float Forum, our exclusive Facebook group only for those individuals that are registered to attend Float 2026. I do need to take a moment, though, to remind everyone. Well, let's try it this way. For those of you that are registered, you received an email from me last week, and in that email contains a link for you to directly join the Float Forum. I would, however, like to take this opportunity to remind everyone that even though you may be eligible to come and be part of the Float Forum, that does not mean your friends and colleagues are. So please remember, do not invite random folks to join the Float Forum unless they are registered to attend the convention. I got a slew of invitations the other day, or a request to join, and they were all invited by the same person. Guys, no. And the person was like, "But Steve, they want to know more. I mean, they want to know more about Float. And if we do this, then they might come to Float." No, That's what the convention group is for. If they want to know more about float and if they want to do that, that's what that general open group is for, because we don't discriminate from anybody there. Anyone can be on there. So there's that. I'll get to that in a second, Natasha. Again, this group is specifically only to support those people that are actually coming to the convention. We also do not allow sponsors in that group. We do not allow vendors in that group. Teachers are allowed in the group because they're technically attendees, but we do not. But sponsors and vendors and people that are not coming. So no, the Float Forum is not. It's not a methodology in which to communicate float stuff. It's to help our businesses who are committed to coming to the event. So there's that. There you go. Natasha, please set up a camera so we can see what Murphy is doing while you're recording on Sundays. The crashing sounds are killing me. Yes, me too. The ball, and I think what's finally happened is I think the ball got stuck somewhere and he can't get to it, and I'm not really complaining about it. Yeah, there's some random frames and stuff laying around the shop at the moment, and I can't see over where I'm working here, so I'm just tossing the ball. And again, I know he crashed a few minutes ago, like he himself crashed, so that was kind of funny. So there you go. See, this is one of the things you don't get when you only watch the summary. So there you go. All right, let's get to the next thing here. I do want to remind everybody that if you are interested in securing a roommate for Float, whether or not you have a room already booked or not, we do have a post that is pinned to the top of the Float the Convention group where people there can leave comments and to look for roommates and that kind of a thing at the convention. So if you have a room reserved already and you would like to have a roommate to save some cost, or if you don't have a room booked yet and you would rather not, and you'd like to find somebody who does, and you can take it from there, by all means, please use this post in the Float group in order to make these connections and get this going on. Thank you. This group, this post will remain throughout until we're ready to go. So by all means, if you are, like I said, if you're looking for a roommate, that's a good place to do it. So there you have it. As promised, the Step Chat summary of last week's episode 260, ironic, isn't it? Episode 260, was uploaded to YouTube, was uploaded to our YouTube channel on Tuesday. It was recorded on Easter Sunday and was posted on April 22nd. So we are keeping to our new schedule. And that schedule, by the way, is as follows. The live recording of Step Chat will continue to take place every Sunday right here on the Float Facebook page. On Monday, the next day, the next episode, which in this case would be episode 261, the full recording will be posted to our YouTube page as well. And then on Tuesday, the summary episode will be posted to the YouTube page or YouTube channel, excuse me. So there we go. That is the new schedule of content that's going to be going on to make your lives easier and to keep you more informed about what's happening in the Floativerse. Some of you have complained that it's too hard to find past episodes of Step Chat. And so the idea here was to make it easier for you. And so with our YouTube channel, we are going to try to do that. And speaking of which, speaking of our YouTube channel, you can find us at youtube.com/@thefloativerse. And as always, we appreciate it very much if you would like our posts, share our posts, and subscribe to our channel. Subscribing to the channel helps push the channel. So we would greatly appreciate it if you would do so. And again, if you are going to subscribe to the channel, we ask that you ring the bell for notifications. And that way, every time a new video is uploaded there, you'll be able to find out immediately. I also want to take this opportunity to remind you all that this coming Wednesday, the ladies of Float are back at it again with Working Wonders. Ronnie, Lisa, Debbie, and Crystal. Sorry, I blanked out. My brain went just... Ronnie, Lisa, Debbie, and Crystal will be at it once again this coming Wednesday night. This week, they're going to be talking about their favorite pieces of equipment. They are revisiting a subject that was covered a couple years ago. But again, as we all know, things change over time. So we're excited to hear about their equipment needs. We're excited to hear about what they find to be essential pieces of equipment with their businesses. And of course, as a viewer, you are welcome to chime in with the comments as well while they do the show live. That show will be taking place at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and whatever the hell time it is where you are, right here on the Float Facebook page. So join Ronnie, Lisa, Debbie, and Crystal this coming Wednesday night. And just so you know, the recording of that episode will also be uploaded to the YouTube channel as well. This coming Tuesday, once again, is Kicking Back with Lisa Mack, our weekly happy hour, virtual happy hour that takes place live right here, also on the Facebook page, also at 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That's right, whatever the hell time it is where you are. The first hour of the show is streamed right here live. The link to the Zoom call is posted in the Float the Convention group because it's in a private setting. The pages cannot be set to private. So the link is there. But of course, Lisa will allow anybody to join the call who wants to be there. So all you got to do is message her and she'll send you the direct link. You can engage with the group a couple ways. You can either be live on the call with us, or you can just leave comments in the Facebook post. And there we go. Then after the first hour, the group goes into what's called after party mode, where they stop broadcasting live on Facebook. At that point, actually, new people tend to get on the call who just aren't comfortable being streamed on Facebook, and we go from there. The show goes till it goes. Until it runs out of steam. Sometimes Lisa will hand off hosting duties to somebody else, and they'll take over until they get done. And I think the longest episode we've ever had was probably 6 hours, I think. But there you go. And as Lisa pointed out, everyone is welcome to be on this call. Now, just when you think we couldn't shake things up, Kicking Back with Lisa Mack international style on Tuesday, May 6th, which is not this coming Tuesday, but next Tuesday. Lisa is going to be airing the show much earlier in the day as a benefit to our friends overseas. So in an attempt to get more of our international folks to get live on the call, Lisa will be broadcasting on Tuesday, May 6th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern time, which is 10 a.m. Pacific time. Yep, you got it. So that day on Tuesday, May 6th, Lisa will be broadcasting in the middle of the day. So by all means, please, like for example, Natasha, you were saying, I need a daytime show because, stay-at-home mom kind of thing. There you go. 10 a.m. California time. Boom. There you have it. Lisa's going to be trying to wrangle up a lot of our international friends and getting them live on the call as well. Because remember, for a lot of these people, it's 2 or 3 in the morning when we start the call. So how many times have we literally watched Matt Lewis fall asleep live on the call? Yep, it's a thing. So by all means, thank you, Lisa. I'm very proud of this one. So there you go. By all means, feel free to join us. We'd love to have you. Special episode Tuesday, May 6th, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Kicking Back with Lisa Mack, international style. And folks, that will do it for today's episode. So thank you all very much. Okay, so that brings me to the end. If you have any questions or anything, I'd love to be able to address them for you. So please post it in the comments. I may not fall asleep at 1 p.m. Yeah, there you go. I do, before we go any further into the process, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the passing of a colleague of mine. Bill Beatty was a twister here in the Western Washington area. He was known as Dr. Twiston. He's never been to Float. He made it very clear he is not a decorator. Very much an entertainer. Loved kids, loved coaching. Spent many years as a teacher. Very active in his church. Very good person in general. Unfortunately, if you attended the Bling Bling Jam, I guess Bill was an active member of the Bling Bling crowd there at that particular event. It is my understanding that Bill passed away sometime around April 22nd. I don't know a lot of information at this time. There hasn't been anything posted to my knowledge. I did see some commentary from his brother. I'm going to reach out and see about about the possibility of getting some information on that. But Bill was a very complicated man. But in the end of the day, he was a child of God without question, and he was a very, very good person. And and the world is a sadder place because of that. So there you go. Thank you. And Bill, by the way, has a pops card. So not a float pops card, but one of the general pops cards. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Yeah. So and he deserved to be on there. So I was glad that he got one. So the pops, for those of you that aren't familiar, the pops cards actually started in the Twister community. They were all Twisters, which is why I was very surprised. I had not been known as a Twister for a very, very, very long time, and I still to this day don't know if Jeremy put me on a pops card because of my on the original pops cards because of my twisting abilities or simply because of float. I don't know. Um, but I mean, the truth matter is, before I was doing all this linking stuff, I was a twister without question. Um, in fact, one of the biggest compliments I ever got in my life was from Marvin Hardy, who said that my Wonders of Weaving video was without question. He said it was one of the best educational twisting videos that he had ever seen, and he thought that everybody should have a copy of it, which made me very happy. He didn't bite me, but he hooked my finger with a tooth. So yeah, playing around with the ball. Daryl, good to see you. Jenny Porter, good to see you as well. I'm sorry, and thank you for that. So there we go. So I am like I said, if you've got a question, I can wait. There you go. I got another minute or two. To be honest, a lot of this sound. Yeah, there it is. Now it's stuck. Yeah, tough. Tough. It has rolled under a count. He can't get to it now. So there you go. And we caved in and bought a couple of cheap Amazonian frames. We had a job to do, and I really didn't have the bandwidth to deal with it. And of course they suck. But what it is I took it apart recently, and it's laying over there, and he's walking on it, and that's what's making all the noise right now. And he's very upset about the fact that the ball is stuck in the thing. So I guess everybody's good. I'm not seeing any questions. I'll give it one more minute and see if anybody's got anything. Come here. Come here. Come on up here. Say hi. Yes, we'll get your ball in a minute. Say hi to everybody. They're looking at you, kid. Look at it. Look at it. There you go. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Well, I guess if we don't have any questions, and which I'm not surprised. We didn't have a lot of new content to share with everybody tonight, so that's not big surprise. I hope to have some. I'm not going to go there. I'm not. Oh, wait. Here we go. Is getting a room for the last Thursday night going to be an issue? It shows there's a waiting list. That's a good question. I will reach out to the hotel about that. When we originally made our reservation for the number of rooms, this wasn't part of the equation. The only rooms that we had were going to be for like float staff and stuff, people that were staying till Friday that, we had to break down the convention. So I will reach out. I have been assured by them that there should not be any problems whatsoever in getting additional rooms. The hotel has 2,000 rooms, so I don't see this as a problem. But thank you, because you're the first person to inform me that is an issue. Opening night's dress code, will it still be orange? Yes. Opening night is always orange. However, given the fact that this year's theme, it's either costume or orange, right? Like you can either come in a costume that's themed for the night, or you can come in orange. Last year there were people that came as their favorite musical genre, right? Or they came in orange. So it's fine. So it just depends on which route you want to go. We are also looking into the possibility of some We are also looking at the possibility of bringing back the concept of a costume contest at opening night. That's all I'm going to say. We're not going there yet. We stopped doing it in 2020 because of the absolute lunacy that developed as a result of which, if you weren't there, it was to say that it was a show. So what was supposed to happen? What was supposed to happen is we had 3 judges, and as people came in costume, the judges were to pull them aside and keep their favorite 5. So what they were supposed to do is pull people aside, put them, if they were good enough to be, if they thought they were good enough to be in the contest, put them aside, and there you go. And then they were supposed to narrow it down to 5 people. Well, apparently none of our judges, they didn't want to be mean. And so they didn't narrow it down to 5 people. And here I am on stage trying to host the evening. And I'm like, where are our 5 finalists? And like 15 people are headed to the stage. It was nuts. And then what made it worse was people came in late and the crowd was like, go up there. You should be up there. I mean, it's like, oh my God, what is going on? I had people accusing me of all kinds of, it was fixed. It was this, it was that. I'm like, all over. Well, the problem is the prize was a free registration to float. So what I'm hoping is if we don't offer a prize like that anymore, then it'll be fine. It won't be that crazy, right? But people were just throwing. But Dina's comment is you're crazy. No, it's not. It's not that we're crazy. It's that we are again trying to find as many sponsorable avenues as we possibly can for the event. We're trying to make sure that we hit budget. Was that the year that Matt was in drag? Yes, it was. That was the year of Leah Tex. Yes, that was. So there you go. Yeah, it's a tough thing. But like I said, what we're trying to, we are currently in the process right now of getting as creative as we possibly can, because like I said, we don't want to, the one thing that we try to do with this event more than anything else is keep the price for you down, right? We don't want you to have to pay a ton of money to come. In order to do that, and with the operating budget of Float 2026, which is a number that frankly should be scaring the hell out of me. With all this taking place, with all this being said, the last thing we want to do is start raising the prices. More than we already have. If we start raising prices to the point to where we probably should be raising them to, then you're going to have attendance drop. When attendance drops, sponsorships drops. When sponsorships drop, vendors drop. It all feeds into each other. So you want to make sure that the price for the event is as low as possible so that we can get as many attendees as possible so that we get more sponsors and vendors. With that being said, we also have to come up with new and creative ways to raise more revenue for the event. And one way that we're going to be doing it throughout the convention are through contests and prizes and gifts and all that kind of stuff. So, that's what we're doing. So, that's why we're entertaining the costume thing again. And because like, Dominique talked about it last week, we thought this might be how we incorporate, a balloon costume element. We could have 2 categories: standard costume, balloon costume. and then people who are like Dominique, who really enjoy costumes, and we're not necessarily going to have a costume fashion show this year. That's not part of the plan, and I don't see that changing. To be completely transparent, I do not see that changing at all. But that could be a way that people could engage in people that like to make costumes. That way, they can engage. So there's that. Natasha, I'm not qualified to be a judge, but I have no problem being mean. Just saying. And that is just one more reason why I respect you the way I do. Thank you. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that they all picked the good people, but they didn't have the guts to tell people, okay, I'm sorry, you're out. Okay. So there we go. Okay. Do we have any more questions from anybody? If not, we will call tonight. We ended up going an hour anyway. There we go. I think we should have a costume contest. Well, Sherry, like I said, I agree. I think to be honest, if we scale down the prize element, then you're not going to have people screaming, yelling, and demanding the heads of people. You know, it's just so easy for me to give away registration, right? Because you're just like, people will do it. I mean, you'll get a big turnout if you give it away for your registration, but people just get really angry and really insane about it sometimes. Very frustrating, but it's the way it goes. So, Dina, I drink tears for breakfast. Part of being a twister and ending a line. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's true. That was the one thing that when I was twisting back in my twisting days, I think every twister will tell you that's the worst. Is when you have to kill the line, right? So for those of you that don't do entertaining, if you're twisting at a function, at a party, or at a festival, whatever, you got this line of kids. Well, here's the problem. At some point, you have to stop that line, or else you're going to be there for 3 more hours. And even if you stop the line, let's say they close the line you're supposed to be done at 2:00. Can't close the line at 2, because now you've got 30 minutes worth of kids to get to. And especially if you've got another gig to get to or whatever. So at some point you have to, and they always say the same thing. You always tell the client, you got to stop my line at this time. And they never do it because, again, they don't want to be the bad guy. So you have to end up being the bad guy. And for me personally, I found a solution out. And the solution is you don't, well, let me get this. So what you would do is you come up with some creative way to mark somebody as the end of the line. And what you do is that's it. And you tell people flat out, sorry, can't do it, right? We're done. This person's my last person. But then, of course, you get some irate dad who said, I told my kid they'd get a balloon. And you're like, well, you didn't tell me. But of course, this is the whole, parents get when they think their other kids are getting stuff that their kid's not getting. So my bailout was very simple. I said, look, I can't make some, but I'll give the kid a balloon. And I would literally blow up a 260 halfway, tie it off. Here you go, kid. Thank you very much. Go make whatever you want. And I swear to God, 99 times out of 100, that would work. And it takes me 10 extra seconds to do that. There's a balloon, boom, done. And that way the parents like, okay, my kid got a balloon. They're done. So that worked out fine. Personal opinion, dresses are more twisting than decor. Costumes are more decor. Sometimes it depends on how you're making them. It depends on how you're making them. Yes, absolutely. Dresses are far more twisting. What's really, really funny is when I was making dresses back in the day, it's very funny. Back when I was doing twisting, I was a big weaver. And twisters did not consider weavers at that time real twisters, because I didn't make Donald Duck and I didn't make Goofy. I made these weird woven things that nobody's going to want in a festival. So I thought that was really funny. And now, of course, the dressmakers are regarded as twisting gods, which I think is very funny. But they are some of them are extremely ridiculously talented, and I can't wait to see them at Float. So yeah, it's very interesting how the industry has changed since I first got in, for the better, by the way. I want to make that very clear, for the better. But again, it depends on how you make the costume. There are plenty of twisters out there that use 350s, 646s, 660s to make costumes. So they don't necessarily use linking balloons. Um, it you know, what you're seeing, the kind of costumes that you're talking about, like parade style things and everything, those tend to be more like linking and all that other stuff too, because you have to make so many of them or whatever. But for a lot of the costume contest stuff that's done, like again, I was the judge at, or not the judge, but I was running the competitions at Twist and Shout, and I would argue that I still think the vast majority of costumes were twisted. They weren't necessarily they weren't necessarily linking balloon. A few would, but not many. Not many. Angie, I don't have the patience for all that twisting stuff. I used to. I used to have the patience for it, and now I don't. Um, Dressmaking is different. I mean, I can make a dress and that's fine, and I would enjoy that to some degree. Um, but I don't like, especially like the bodice. I got no problem making the bodice, but when it gets to the skirt, I'm like, okay, linking this. I'm linking this crap. Like I'm not doing this anymore. This is I right. It's just I used to sit there and hand weave the entire skirt and blah blah. No, not anymore. So, um, and to be honest, if I'm going to be completely transparent, I have sold for actual price, for true value price. I've sold 3 dresses in my entire career. 3. And all 3 of them were the same outfit. An Oktoberfest beer maiden. I've sold 3 of those for what I consider to be a fair price based on the amount of labor that I spent making them. 2 were for a casino, 1 was for Microsoft. I've been hired, I've been given beer money to make dresses before, whatever. I like I'll never forget the guy that got all excited and he's like, "Dude, I got you a gig. I'm so excited. I'm finally able to get you some work, blah 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 blah. They need 6 to 8 outfits. I'm going to get you $200." 6 to 8 outfits, $200. Steve made a lot of bikini tops. So there you go. Okay, well, I guess it's safe to say that everybody's good to go. So, with that being said, I want to thank each and every one of you for being here tonight. Again, I want to thank all of you for joining me as part of the Floativerse. You have other things to do with your time than to sit here and listen to me and a dog. So, I really appreciate you. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for staying up with the Floatverse. Thank you for staying, abreast of what's going on in the Floativerse. Really, really appreciate you, and very much look forward to what's coming up soon. By this time next week, we should have some very exciting news. Um, we might also have an industry update that I'm not really at liberty to talk about. I thought I could earlier and I can't. So that'll be my teaser for next week. So there we go. But beyond that, thank you all very much once again, and we will see you next time right here in the Floativerse. Have a good one.